After you announce that you have these 4-hour erections, and after you announce that your partner has a top 1% vagina, how do you go back to having sex?
Power Index.
Power Index, where we talk about all the movers and shakers in politics and business. And as you said, you are sort of on oddball trends. You're open-minded, and there is one person who has kind of been the godfather of this booming trend in health and wellness and longevity, Bryan Johnson. And there is an active market right now on whether or not Bryan Johnson will have sex again before June 30th. Now, I'm going to explain the background of how this even came to be a bet, but I do want to know, what is your relationship with respect to longevity, Bryan Johnson? I believe you're a follower of the whole movement, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So Bryan Johnson, I think of as kind of like, he's outrageous caricature of all of it, and he also gives, considering the longevity movement, like there's a guy named David Sinclair that I would say is like the real OOG of it, but Bryan Johnson's kind of like the mascot, so I think of him as like, it's fun. He's a character that I think is coming from a good place and is really fun. He really popped off when he started sharing his biometrics.
Right, so his whole thing, just so people understand, he's a multimillionaire that just invested his entire net worth into biohacking and trying to live as long as possible, right?
I think he reports that he spends about $2 million a year in it, and his whole take on it is he's like, I'm doing all these things, and he's very aggressive in what he'll try. So he always posts when something doesn't work. He'll be extremely transparent about everything that he's doing, but the idea is to not die. So his whole thing is, I'm not going to die.
You're deep down the Bryan Johnson rabbit hole, because when I texted you just to prepare for this interaction, I said, do you know about Bryan Johnson? You're like, oh yeah, if he sells it, I buy it. So
I did a shot of his olive oil this morning.
You took a shot of his olive oil this morning. Okay, so just run me down quickly a list of your own methodology, whatever you're on in terms of longevity and trying to stay healthy. What's kind of your daily regimen?
Okay, so this is the problem. What I found is I was getting too stressed out about trying to be into wellness. So the issue was like I was for a while.
Wellness.
That was it. So I wear 2 tracking devices. There's something called an Aura and a Whoop, and I was doing both of them with a glucose monitor. And if you're a neurotic person, this stuff, I'd say 1 out of 100 people with this judgment jewelry is going to have a problem. Like, most people are fine. I was getting so stressed out by reaching the perfect score. Like, every morning I would wake up and check how I feel. And my girlfriend would be like, what are you doing? I go, I'm seeing how I feel. And she'd be like, don't you know how you feel?
I'm seeing how I feel. Can't
exactly.
you see I'm seeing how I feel?
And I thought I felt good, but apparently I'm going to die right now. So it was a mess. So I've taken a step back, but my average protocol, which I cycle, is I try to set my circadian rhythm in the morning by getting, I mean, look, if I'm being 100% for friends, no, I don't do all of it. If the version of me that I would like to be presenting, I set my circadian rhythm, I do contrast therapy. I wake up, I fight with myself to not go on my phone, then I try to do some type of a mantra, or I'll try to meditate, but I'll, feel like I screwed up.
Checking the price of XRP and it all goes out the window, right?
Then I'm good, then I'm bad. I'll try to meditate, but if I miss a day, I'll be like, oh, I'm an idiot. So it's like it.
Sure, but in general, you subscribe to the wellness longevity lifestyle. That's what you're aiming to be a part of. So
absolutely heavy into peptides. I mean, I was an early adopter of peptides, nootropics, probably like 5 or 6 years ago, and I can, without a doubt, say it has helped me feel better. And the idea that they really promote is, for a lot of people, it's not about extending your life; it's about making your life feel healthier while you're in it.
Okay, so then let me paint the picture of how this market came to be. Because,
please,
again, the bet is, will Bryan Johnson have sex again by June 30th? And to clarify, it's not on the honor system. They're saying that like it has some public knowledge from a reliable source, more than likely his ex account, because on April 9th, Bryan Johnson tweeted out, just had sex with Kate. Good night, everyone. So Kate is his partner, and he was announcing to the world that he had sex with his partner. And again, everything that he does is aimed towards longevity and a healthier lifestyle. So he biohacks and uses the metadata to analyze whether or not sex is good for him at a particular day, time of day. Everything is
And he notoriously, I'm so relieved he got a girlfriend, because before this, he was constantly about his erection. So he would be like updating everybody about, I had a 4-hour erection today, I had a 5-hour erection today. And I like all of his stuff, but those ones after a little while, I was like, I feel so weird. Like, what do you say to that when someone says they just had a 4-hour? That sounds without some. It sounds painful to have a 4-hour erection. Sounds insane.
I wish I could tell you whether it was or wasn't. Never had a 4-hour one. But so that's actually kind of what I want to talk to you about with respect to him finding a partner. Do you find that your girlfriend is also into wellness, or is it difficult for her? Because, like, for instance, I grew up thinking Chipotle was a vegetable, but then when Esther went vegan, even I was willing to be vegan for a little bit. So, like, partners tend to go into the lifestyle we're into. Does Lexi participate, or she's the complete opposite?
She's not into it at all, and she thinks it's. I mean, she will refer to it as, like, she's Latina. She'll say, "Oh, that's really like yuppie white people BS." Now, to be fair to her, I'm such an I remember when she said that, I was literally saging my crystals. I had crystals laid out, and if you're into that, you need to re-energize them. I know. It's just, I think...
As a white person, you don't need to be Latina. As a white person, I will tell you that's white people bullshit. But go on.
It's about the energy. I don't think that is just, like, fun for me. I'll think of that like a mantra thing. And when she said I was saging my crystals, covered in castor oil, under a red light, standing on a lymphatic vibration plate. And and I was just like, okay, maybe you have a point. So she's not into it, but she doesn't discourage me from doing it. When I was doing like the immunosuppressant rapamycin thing, and then Bryan Johnson said it was bad, that was a big eye roll in our apartment. But she supports me doing it.
You guys have the words involved in your fights are hilarious.
Oh, and she's so sick of hearing. One time she had a couple glasses of wine, and she was like, "We got to have less talk about peptides." She's like, "It's too much." She's like, "Let's talk about peptides, more talk about other things. Like, everything can't relate back to peptides." So I know that I have to find, like, other outlets, and I have to diversify my interests.
Emma, between crypto and peptides, you truly are like the poster child for, like, a nightmare bro, which is hilarious.
The only wiggle room I get is just because I'm gay, so like a lesbian. That's the only. But there's a whole breed of that lesbian alpha bros too. But I'm not part of that.
If you were a man, you would be so many women.
A monster.
Absolute nightmare.
I know. I'm sorry.
Well, so with respect to, again, his partner Kate, though, one thing that Bryan Johnson also shared, because apparently he's an overshare with his 4-hour erections, he said that Kate had a vagina that was in the top 1%. And I believe it was with respect to bacteria, right? Like,
yes, her biome.
Right, because, like, I'm a straight man, you are a lesbian. We both appreciate vaginas, possibly for different reasons, but I am wondering how you quantify what constitutes top 1%.
Oh, you don't know?
No,
I'm joking. I have no idea what he's.
I have what I think is the top 1%. I know what that means to me, but I have a feeling Bryan Johnson's standards are a little bit different.
Another metric.
Yeah.
I think I would be so interested in how if he does announce that he's had sex, how he's going to frame it too. Like, I'm just very curious what he'd say.
After you announce that you have these 4-hour erections, and after you announce that your partner has a top 1% vagina, how do you go back to having sex? Like, how is that not a gigantic turnoff?
I completely agree, because also talk about all the pressure on her. Like, what if one time after they have sex, then he doesn't post that she was in the top 1% biome? Like, that's a little uncomfortable. But yeah. I think with him, can I say my prediction for whether or not he's going to do it or not?
Absolutely. Okay. Frame it like this. So let me ask you this, Emma. Bryan Johnson will have sex before June 30th. Yes or no?
I'm going to tell you 100% no, but I can tell you exactly why I say this with extreme confidence. Okay. Everything he does is intentional. So he constantly says every calorie has to fight for its life in terms of its nutritional content. When he posted that about Kate's microbiome, it was about 2 months before he announced that Kate was going to start doing the longevity protocol that he's doing for women. So they're launching a whole other arm of his blueprint business, which I believe he has stepped away from, but that's going to be she's used to run his social media. Now she's moving into that. So he was announcing that and them having sex in relation to this new arm that they're launching. The only way Bryan Johnson will tell us if he's having sex, I believe, is if he's going to start selling something that has to do with erection. So I think this was a calculated move on his part. He does get a little bit willy-nilly since he's been in a relationship. Like, he recently went to and met Kate's family, and they had a 3-day event there, and he posted all about it, but he didn't post that they had sex after that. And if he killed it with their parents and they didn't have sex, or if they did and he didn't post it, he's not posting it unless he's got some type of product he's selling, which I don't believe he does before that date. So this is a hard no on Bryan Johnson posting about having sex.
Say all that to say you heard it here first. 100% no from Emma Willmann. Okay.
But maybe I'll be wrong. I don't know.
No. I love the definitive nature of your answer. Now, we're going to move from health and wellness to a complete 180 on the spectrum and talk about Costco hot dogs. Because the very next bet I want to talk about that there's a very active market on is, will Costco raise the price of their hot dogs before 2027? Anyone that doesn't know, Costco has famously, for decades, offered a hot dog for $1.50. It is essentially a blood oath at this point between the CEO and their customers. He has promised in his lifetime he will never raise the price of a hot dog above $1.50. But first and foremost, let me ask you, what is your relationship to Costco? Are you a shopper? Are you a hot dog eater there? I mean, you're certainly a healthy person, so I assume you don't eat the hot dogs there, but what's your Costco experience?
I do like a hot dog every now and then, and I do love Costco. So one of the things that I dislike the most about living in New York is that I don't get to go peruse a Costco. Like, I have all these fond memories growing up with my dad. We would go to Sam's Club, which is kind of like Costco light in some ways, and I love going to Costco and just walking around and milling about. And I have enjoyed their hot dogs before. I'm really curious what your take on this is, though. I'm going to be very curious what your prediction is. But my relationship, love Costco, like the hot dogs, much more than they also have pizza. Not as big. Their pizza was not so good, but the hot dogs is phenomenal.
I was actually going to say I'm not a fan of the hot dog. Do like the pizza. So listen,
really,
a lid for every pot. That's how Costco stays in
business.
True. Now I will get into what I think my prediction is, but I also just want to talk about what it says about the state of the world in America, where everything is going up. The price of everything is infinitely more expensive. Inflation has been going nuts for half a decade, and yet they will not raise the price of a hot dog. And I think it's kind of funny that, like, the hot dog at Costco for $1.50 has kind of become the fat American's blankie. It's like a comfort item that you can rely on. It's like, for the sake of mankind, we need the $1.50 hot dog to remain in place, right? Like, don't you assume there would be rioting in the streets if all of a sudden the hot dog was $2 or $3?
I think that it would break. I think it would shake America to the core, and I think this would be like the final straw. I mean, the way you just described whose blankie it is. I mean, I hate to say this. I don't know how rowdy that would be, but they definitely get, like, you know, there'd be an intense waddle around the block for sure. But
an intense waddle. Well, so here's the reason why I personally don't think the price of the hot dog is going to go up. The $1.50 Costco hot dog is specifically designed to be a loss leader, which means that you lose money on to get people in the door to buy more expensive items. So, yes, you give away essentially a hot dog for $1.50, but I don't know about you. Have you ever gotten out of Costco or Sam's Club or any of these bulk discount stores for less than $200?
It's not even a question. You go in, and when you see these deals, you're like, are they paying me? Like, you feel like you can't afford to then not get the stuff. I humbly and personally, I 100% agree with you. I think that they would shut Costco down before they go back on their word for that. I think they would start upcharging something else it's too ingrained in the fabric of their branding. I think that that'll be like the last stand, and no matter what happens, as long as Costco is in business. Because, I mean, do you think that they made a mistake in taking such a strong stand behind the hot dog? Do you think that
I think it was a good PR move. First of all, in customer loyalty, like, again, the whole blankie analogy.
100%.
It's comfortable to their customer base because no matter what happens, like you said, whether they go from prices so low, it's like they're paying you.
Exactly.
At the very least, they can rest on their laurels. No matter what they charge for their paper towels or their trail mix or their nameless sweatpants, they can always...
Vats of mayonnaise.
Listen, we told you $1.50 hot dogs, and the year is 2062, and we still got $1.50 hot dogs.
I totally. I think that this is like, it's almost like their tagline. Like, they're not... If for them to change this, I think they would sooner go out of business. So I think that there's no way that they're going to change this.
So again, I
wouldn't do
want
it.
to frame it like this, just because you've been very definitive in your answer. So I want to know again. Will Costco raise the price of a hot dog before 2027?
No.
Are we getting 100%?
I'm doing 100% no on that. Are you also 100% no?
Yeah, I'm 100% no on that. But what is interesting with respect to hot dogs is that time of year. Like, I feel like hot dog is the mascot of American summer.
It is that time of year.
Especially as 4th of July is approaching. And there's not an active market on it now, but just kind of in researching hot dog markets, we saw that in 2025, there was a very popular bet on whether or not Joey Chestnut's record of 76 hot dogs being eaten on the 4th of July hot dog eating contest would be beaten. Okay, so among all of the American sports records, Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game. Cal Ripken's 2,632 games played. Serena's 23 Grand Slam titles. LeBron James' 43,000 points and counting in the NBA. Where does the 76 hot dogs eaten rank in accomplishment, and will it ever be broken?
I think they're gonna break it. I was trying to poke. I wish we could get more intel on this guy and like what he's been up to in the off season, because it's not like with other sports. They're not like telling us like what his like. If I could get a little bit of monitoring on what he's been up to, that would do a lot for me. But I think him or someone else, I do think that he's gonna.
I'll tell you what he hasn't been up to: biohacking and peptides.
Yeah, that's true. I would love to see.
Maybe he has. I don't know.
I would love to see his metrics. I think he's gonna break the law of digestion. Or I mean, it's tough if it's him who's going to break it. That I'm not sure, because I think his gastro system has to be so like he maybe like the most hot dogs I've ever had was, I think I had 7, and I remember it well. I was at a state fair with my dad, and I kept eating them, and I had 3, and he said that's enough, and then I snuck off and I got more, and I remember feeling sick. I think it was when I was first experimenting with pot.
You snuck off and had 4 hot dogs in the shadows?
I'm bad. Oh, yeah. That was
one of the things I also wanted to ask you, though, because you referenced it as his off season, which I love, because that means you do consider Joey Chestnut and competitive eaters athletes. One of the questions is, are these people athletes?
100%. If you think of it, if you define an athlete as someone who is training on a rigorous schedule for a goal, for a sport, then I would say this is an athlete. True. I mean, they have to train themselves. They have all these like tricks where they're like eating the bread to expand their stomach, breathing techniques. I mean, when you talk about that, once you get over 20 hot dogs, this is an event. He's doing things with his throat we can't even comprehend. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
With the balance of the water, the way he does that stuff, I don't know how he's absorbing all that he's absorbing. He's defying whatever.
You are an onion that you peel back the layers. You contain such fascinating multitudes, because on one hand, you hold Bryan Johnson and his wellness to such a high regard, but it's also so clear that you have such a respect for Joey Chestnut and Kobayashi and these hot dog scarfers. But I actually have seen sort of what he does in the offseason.
What does he do?
So I've seen a documentary where those like rubber jaw strengtheners that you use to expand your jaw.
He's an athlete.
He does that to train his jaw muscles. I believe he puts like the 5 or 10 pound weights and strengthens his neck. So he's obviously training in the offseason. Then with respect to Kobayashi, who before Joey Chestnut was sort of the Michael Jordan of competitive eating, I actually saw that he was like born with a lower stomach. There was something about the way his stomach sits under his intestines where he was like born with a God-given ability to consume, like the same way that Michael Phelps has like natural abilities that make him a faster swimmer. Kobayashi had that for competitive eating. So to be at the highest highs, you what
a blessing and a curse. Yeah, to have that be like the cross you have to bear, to be like, I guess he's like forced into being a competitive eater. That cannot be an easy lifestyle. I mean, you're going out to dinner, it's like that switch, you're going to start getting competitive with anyone you're with. Like, that's got to be a tough. That's not easy on no athleticism is easy on your body when you're playing at that level. But competitive eating, especially, I think it's got to be very tough.
If you had to pick one food to be in, because I've seen ones where they're like people are eating 10 pounds of mayonnaise in one sitting. In Las Vegas, I actually went to the competitive eating bagel competition that Joey Chestnut was in, and he won. He ate.
He does other foods.
Absolutely. What,
I didn't think about that.
You think Joey Chestnut is a one-trick pony? You think he exclusively trains to eat hot dogs? No.
I thought that a hot dog has a specific type of thing that you have to train for, so I thought that he would only do hot dogs.
No. Hot dogs are made of like grounded up cows' lips and assholes. How can you have a specific constitution for eating just that? No.
Because he's eaten that many.
I believe he ate 17 and 5/8 bagels with like fully.
This man is out of control.
Cream cheese in 5 minutes.
He's out of control. For some reason, I liked it more when I thought it was just hot dogs. Like, this is just crazy.
This is where you turn the page on.
This is where I turn the page, because this is too much. Like, this is like wild. Like, if you're doing that all the time, all over the place with different foods, like, this is crazy.
So you mean to tell me that you lived in a reality where Joey Chestnut exclusively eats hot dogs all day, every day.
No, I thought
he's not dead.
No, I thought he ate other foods, but I thought he only would competitively eat hot dogs. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're a professional basketball, I guess that's not true. Obviously, you dabble in other sports, but it's such a hard thing to do in your system. I would think that he would really be saving himself to try to beat the hot, like, it would just be all about hot dogs. Hilarious. So you saw him eat bagels, and was it amazing? Like
no,
what
it was horrifying. It's so you know how
gross.
Gross it is when they dunk the buns, the hot dog in the water.
Yeah,
and, they're eating that. Now imagine that water turning white like milk because the is being dunked. It was disgusting.
Does he make crazy noises?
You can't. Thank God you can't really hear it. I was falling back, but I brought my 3-year-old to watch, and for the next week he was trying to eat his food like that. So it was just a huge lapse in judgment as a parent in general.
100%.
I would just say no. All right, but now we are going to move off.
Wait, what's your prediction? Do you think they're going to break it?
No, I don't think.
Really?
I don't think. Well, actually, let me say this. No, I do not think Joey Chestnut will ever break his record of 76 because I believe he's on the decline. But as with all sports, I think the next generation is only getting bigger, faster, stronger, and capable of more impressive feats. So, of course, in my lifetime, I'm sure we will see a day when someone eats 100 hot dogs at the
But what about coming up? Like, do you think this year is going to be the year that someone will hit 77?
No.
Really?
It's going to be done this year.
There's no Joey Chestnuts, like, waiting in the chamber on the come up?
No, because again, I recently saw him. It was this past year when I saw him.
And he was moving a little slow.
He was moving slow for him, but he's still far and above the competition. There's no Joey Chestnut nipping at his heels.
I think if he would if he would lay off the bagels, if he would just focus on the hot dogs and just train for that exclusively, then I do think he could get up to like how old is he? Like 50? I think he could get up to. I think he could have one last final blowout, and I think he could get up to like 78. But he would have to just 100 lock in and just focus on this.
All right, Joey Chestnut. If you're watching, if you're listening, Emma Willmann, world-renowned health guru, is telling you lock in. Enough with the bagels. Enough with the mayonnaise. Lock in. Enough with the wings. It's hot dogs, Joey. That's what you were born to do.